Okay, this is the route that our robot train is going to go through. It's going to start here in Frackville, where it's going to pick up passengers and freight, set out some that I might have from the last round, go through Frackville. Now it wants to go over on the main line to Gerardville here, but as you can see, there's a switcher sitting right here, and there's a switcher sitting here. So the robot train, although it wants to go there, is going to find out it cannot do that. It'll force it to take an alternate path if all works well. So on the other end of the runaround, the track course is set closed, which is the main line, and it will have to flip it over to Throne. We'll then go through Big Mine Run and toward Ashland. And in Ashland, we also have a couple of switchers down here on the main line, so he can't go through here either. He's going to have to take this turnout. It's going to have to be thrown. He's going to take this alternate route, and at the end of the runaround, he's going to have to flip this one to diverge or thrown also. He'll run through Shamokin, Indiantown Gap, stop for 20 seconds or so in Lancaster, and then repeat the loop. The first time around, and there's the train it's going to be going, it's a GP, CSX GP. It's going to go around the loop and it's going to come back over where we started. The turnouts will already be changed to the path, the alternate paths it had to take. However, the script hasn't been changed. It still says the main line. So it creates some interesting diversion there. And we'll have that coming up in a minute. We can try to execute it if we can find out where. There we are. We're going to execute it. It's going to run the script over here. You see that it's begun. And it's running at track speed of 15. Now where he's sitting is way over here. He should be coming there. He comes around the corner now. So he's coming. And he's coming toward Frackville. So he'll be around in a little bit. We can see on our display where he is from any of the locations where the display is visible, which is in the train room dispatcher station here. Now, when he finally gets over here, he will stop, just as we showed in the simulator. He will stop here in Frackville for freight and passenger loading. He will then check his signals to see if he can go forward. He wants to go in where that switcher is still setting, so he should have an issue. It should force him to make a decision, since we're running without dispatcher, to turn that turnout. As we mentioned in the simulation, part of the technique we use is to reserve blocks in advance of progress. It's a long story, but basically that's what we do. Okay, here he comes. I guess I could have run it a little faster. Okay, so now he's stopped at Frackville. It takes 20 seconds for his normal stop, which if it was a 10 to 1 fast clock. Now he stopped in the Frackville in the next block. He's looking at the situation. He turned the switch to closed. It's progressing at restricted speed. He's moving into the gyro alternate. He's checking ahead. And he had to throw that turnout over here. Then he can start up again. There, he's on the move. So now he's running over there. So we can see here. It takes what, about 15 seconds or so till it gets over the other end and out. Now he's in block 13, which he reserved ahead of time before he threw that turnout. And he's approaching the Big Mine Run station. If I had sound, he'd blow a pass-by whistle or horn and move toward Ashland. He's got two red lights. He's got to figure out what he's going to do. He's got red because he can't go on the main. There's somebody there. And the alternate, now the alternate just turned to yellow. And so now he threw the turnout. If you heard that, he threw the turnout. There it is. He's going to creep his way into the alternate here on restricted speed. And he's going to get down a little bit and he's going to check to see what the situation is in this block. Anybody there? No. Is the turnout correct? No, but he'll have to change it. So he's looking. He's stopping and checking. Block's free. He can turn the turnout. And he turned the turnout. Then he started up. So he's moving ahead. Down to Sunbury. No, I'm sorry, down to Shamokin. Slowing down to go into the Newtown Gap at restricted speed. Right now we just support 2 speeds, restricted and all out for that piece of track. Each track is its own restricted speed number and its max number. So you can look at the details of the curvature and other risks. Now he just got to Lancaster, which is his normal stop to drop off freight and passengers, pick up other freight and passengers, and then he'll continue. The script actually, if it has a stop turned on, will stop in about a few seconds after it's calculated to get to the end of the block approximately. But it's not going to stop at the end of the block because we have it turned off. It'll continue in a loop. So now he'll run around again. I'm not going to bore you by running all the details, but I'm going to rush ahead and wait till he's getting closer to Frackville, and you'll see how he negotiates the turnouts that are already in the diverging route, the alternate route direction. We'll just take a couple of quick notes. One is that the turnout, as you can see, is still in the closed position. The script says you want to go to turnout, but he doesn't know yet that there's somebody there. He'll find out there's somebody there, and he can't go on the turnout thrown, so he'll try to flip it over, but he won't have to flip it over because he'll see it's already flipped over to close, that he's ready to go. And the only other thing he has to do is make sure he has the right color on the signal. Okay, it's got to be a yellow or a green to work, and looks like he's got a green there now, so he'll be able to proceed at a higher speed. Okay, so our GP has gotten to Frackville again. He's going to stop for 20 seconds and then go forward. And as you can see, okay, now he's calculating that he has to go forward here, but he can't go until he checks and he makes sure it's right. And he's right. And of course the signals are now red because we don't want anybody following them in there. So he's now had reserved, and now he's entered and taken the block in the alternate track in Gerardville. And he's going to check over here. He did check to make sure that's turnout is correct here. Notice he doesn't have as much time to pause on the exit as he does in the entry. The entry is a little more complex logic, and maybe a faster computer will speed that up a tad. Or maybe fewer messages coming out in the output, but right now I've got it. Okay, so now he's checking ahead. Like I say, he's got to check ahead to see if that's okay to go there. He's got he's got a green on the alternate path. The turnout's already correct, as you can see. Yep, he's going through there, and then he's looking ahead down here, moving ahead, but he didn't look ahead yet. He paused for ever so slightly, but not as long as when it had to be turned. There you see, you notice he picked up speed. At that point, he had determined that the block is available, hasn't been reserved. He reserved it for himself, and the turnout is correct. So that's basically the way this thing works. What we'll be doing is we'll be showing a train going in the other direction with the same constraints, and then we'll have them going at each other on the third video. That's it.